Alright, so everybody, this is my Avatar review, like I said so in the title. Now, I'm sure you guys also see what's in the title. Spoilers. I don't want to hear any complaints about spoilers. I'm telling you guys right now. If you don't want any spoilers, don't watch beyond this point. Okay? But even though, if you guys are going to continue watching, even though if I do spoil something, actually going to see the movie is a pretty different experience to actually hearing what you heard about the movie, which is what I actually had to go through. So, and if you're going to see this movie, 3D. 3D is the only way to see this movie. It's just so mind-blowing. You guys have no idea what you're in for. This movie was made by James Cameron. He was the guy who's behind the Aliens movies, the Terminator movies, and I think he wrote Titanic, and I think True Crimes, something like that. True something. I'm not sure I forget the title of it, but I'm sure you guys know. But this guy is a genius, a directing and writing genius. I mean, you guys have seen his previous work. You guys know this guy is good with sci-fi. So you can expect the exact same amount of awesome that you saw in Aliens and Terminator. That all gets transferred into Avatar. And just the actors in the movie are just as good. Like, we have one of my personal favorites, Zoe Saldana, however you say her last name, I don't care. Zoe. The chick that played Uhura from Star Trek. She plays Neytiri, one of the natives. I think they're called the Navi. I think so. I think that's what they're called. She plays that chick in there, and I've never been so confused in my life. The entire time I was thinking, would I hit it? I mean, you look at her, you know who she is, but she's all blue, she has the whole animal-like face and everything, but you're just like, you're torn. You're torn! Oh. Anyway, let me get off of her. Sigourney Weaver, I think that's how you say her name. I don't know how you say her first name, but she was the main character in the Aliens movies. That chick from the first one, second, third one, I think she was in. Those were good movies. She's a good actor. We already know all that. And then I think you got a guy from Dodgeball in there, I think. But anyway, the actual story about this movie, I mean, there's so much. There's just so much to talk about this movie. It's really hard to concentrate on one thing. But the storyline is nothing that we haven't seen before. But the way it was presented and the way it was done, the way it was told, just absolutely just blew your mind. Everything was just perfect. Like the basic storyline, let me run this down for you guys with the least amount of spoilers as possible. Imagine the Disney movie Pocahontas.
And we all know the story of Pocahontas. And yes, this is the part where she sings, "You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is not a dead thing you can claim." I have no shame. I love these Disney songs. No shame whatsoever. But anyway, the people come to the New World because they want the riches of the land, the gold. That's basically what happens in Avatar movie. Now, John Smith, if he were to try to get in with the natives, where all the Navis were, it said Navi, he would have to look like them. So basically, he goes from this to this. And the other premises of the movie is like, you got the native chick, but add some Lost Planet mechs, and put it in a rainforest, and get an old war guy who's been through hell and has a lot more experience than everybody else, and does whatever it takes to survive. Oh, and he wants to solve the Navi problem with explosives.
Fire in the hole!
So you get the general idea behind the movie. You got the tribal people that are in the way of what the military wants, and you got the military force that wants to move them. So what do? To try and keep things civil, they took the DNA from the Navi people, and they made like exo bodies for their scientists, and the scientists can transfer their brains into those bodies and actually walk around them and everything, and they try to use those bodies to actually like join them and communicate with them and talk to them and all that. Well, the main character, Mr. Jake, he gets in with this village people, the Navi people, and they don't trust him. But in order for him to gain their trust, they want him to go through a series of tests and all that and learn the ways of their people. That's been the general thing behind the movie, is that he goes through this, he goes back and forth between the Navi people and the military people, and the two stories come together. I mean, it's all one big story, but it's like this happens with them, this happens with them, like that. And it's a really great concept. It's a great story. You got love in there. You got a lot of people are gonna dislike the way there's a lot of environmental messages, like save the rainforest and all that. You know, people complain about anything. And then you even have this spiritual like message in there as well in the second half of the movie, but it's nothing really bothered with. Now, the thing that really grabs you with this movie is that the photogenic, lifelike look of these plants and the forest that they're in is just absolutely stunning. And when you go see it in 3D, you just get drawn into this world. It's just absolutely ridiculous how good it looks. I mean, if you're sitting on the front row, it's going to be really strenuous on your eyes and on your brain. I was one of the few on the front row. I got there late. And afterwards, after the movie, my head was hurting and I was nauseated. Now, I didn't feel it during the movie, but afterwards, hours afterwards. Now, I wasn't the only one that was feeling that either. There was a report that people were feeling the same thing. I mean, this movie is just ridiculous. It really is. I just can't believe a movie like that exists. It's got like an 8.1 on IMDb, which is a really good score for a movie. It's got like an 83 on Metacritic, and it's like number 21 best movie of all time right now on IMDb. So, you guys, no doubt this is a good film that you guys have to go see. I'm definitely going to go see it again. The same thing with Star Trek, I'm going to see it again in 3D. I can't emphasize that enough, that 3D is essential. You do yourself justice if you go see it in 3D. And let's see, I think there was one more thing I wanted to talk about this movie. Yes, the general guy. That dude is awesome. He shows how bad he is throughout the entire movie, and he's a bit comical sometimes as well in the way he takes care of business. He's like, okay, let's get in here, let's blow that up, and let's go home. I don't want to be late for dinner. He's that kind of general where he knows that this is how things are going to be ran. It's going to be done like this. It will be home in time for dinner. It was amazing. And the final battle between the Navis and the military force, it was really good. It was incredible. And it's just so hard to talk about this movie. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes of getting your mind blown. I can't tell you guys enough. It's really difficult to do a review on this movie. And I know I've said enough already, but I couldn't do the movie justice. I really couldn't, you guys. You guys have to go see it for yourselves. And I want to thank Mr. Eduardo for sending me the money to go see this film. I really thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. You gave me a huge treat. So anyway, that's all BLACKbusterCritic has to say on the Avatar movie. I want to thank James Cameron and Zoe Saldana, however you say your last name. You are one beautiful woman. I hope to meet you one day and shower you with my love. But that's it. That's all I got to say. But just remember this question. You gotta remember this question when you're seeing this movie. Would you hit it?